So for case study today, I did a case out of Kentucky where a tenant was shot and killed while responding. Similarities similarities between that call that our department is currently facing are that both occasions there was a person down those calls. Came across from dispatch on this case study that there was a possibility of shots fired as well. And they also knew that there was police units responding in. They might have been delayed, similar to the current situation that we have in store, but they were dispatched and aware of that. Similar to our case as well, both units responded in without having that confirmation from PD that the scene was safe, which then resulted in our firefighter getting injured and their firefighter getting killed. A little backstory from the case out of Kentucky. A call was placed for a female who was down in the grass next to a house with blood covering her head. The reporting party was a neighbor who was passing by the area. He reported to live about a quarter of a mile from the scene and called as soon as he got home. Police was dispatched to this scene first, and then shortly after that, it was dispatched to fire and EMS. Fire was the first to arrive on scene. They proceeded to park in the lower section of the driveway, which had a little bit of a hill. They took the equipment that they needed, walked up that hill where they see the one patient. They did leave one firefighter back at the end, told him that he was there lookout to make sure that there was nothing going on. The lieutenant and one of the other firefighters made contact with the patient. Shortly after this, the ambulance arrived. When the ambulance arrived, they pulled straight up to the patient. Shortly behind them were two PD hits. And then shortly after that is when shots started being fired towards them. The lieutenant was shot multiple times, and she was extricated from the scene and given medical attention, but was not able to be saved. Cause of death from the autopsy was determined to be multiple gunshot wounds. Now, reviewing SOPs, there's many different SOPs out there that you can look at. Should they have gone in? Should they not have? One half a dozen others. Looking at different SOPs from different states, agencies, it looks like to be a consistent factor of going in without having a safe clearance. SOPs are showing, like I said, that they're going in before those are here. There are situations where PD will come across the radio and say, respond in at your discretion. That doesn't mean that PD is telling them to go in, that they're not responding. That just means that they might have a delayed response. And that if they want to respond in, or if their SOPs allow for it, they can respond in for those calls. More than likely, the EMS and fire need to reply back to their SOPs to see, do they allow for us to respond in without having that scene safe clearance in these situations. Both were unknown assault, shots fired type calls. With these calls as well, there needs to be consistent open communication between dispatch and the responding unit that are on scene. This will help with those situations of, this is going on, PD's here, we need to wait, we got more information, here's that information, and we put that on. Not saying that was not a factor non-completed in either one of these situations. That's just a need for that open communication. And then expectations for our officer or company level officers and battalion commanders. Um, these positions are two positions that should not be taken lightly. There's vigorous training and interviewing and processes for those two positions. And they are selected and put into those positions with an understanding that it is their job to make sure that the rest of the crew underneath them is safe and gets to go home at the end of the night. So, with that, it is the expectation that in those situations, they're listening to the radio and giving guidance in any of these calls. As a battalion commander, especially, one of two things: they either need to be responding in on these calls and standing by with the unit, or they need to be listening 100% to this call and what is going on and determining if the actions being done by the firefighters are that of the SOPs that they have in place. Or if they feel like, nope, we need to wait, then that needs to be communicated to that unit during that time to eliminate for these